I am saddened by the fact that I barely understood anything that you were talking about. You
Let me
know,
see.
and it's just a sad indicator of the reality of my life. And this is not what I want to focus on, but I will say that I had a tremendous amount of arrogance when I was a young man, as young men do, and I'll have to forgive myself for it. But that arrogance has had long-lasting effects, and I was always under the impression it's easy to be rich in America. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out, you know. And of course, I never did. But the part of the conversation that I really love the most, and of course, I love it all, but this part resonated with me, was when you and Sharente were talking about the apparently controversial idea that money can't buy you happiness. Right. I
I
mean,
like that, apparently.
yeah, I mean, it flies in the face of convention, Greg. I mean, what do you mean? We're all told that this is what we have to do all the time is money, 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 right? Money makes the world go round, which is what I think from Cabaret. It's interesting to me that in order to believe that money can make you happy, you literally have to ignore all of the examples when it doesn't. Like,
Yeah.
let's ask Robin Williams or DJ Twitch or Chris Cornell or John Belushi or the heir to the Johnson & Johnson fortune who threw herself off a building from depression.
Man.
Let's ask all the wealthy people that have killed themselves if money can make you happy.
Yeah.
I mean, folks, I'm not a smart man, but I can see what's in front of me.
I know you know this. I'm amplifying a bit of what you're saying. Think about this, dear listener. You get to whatever level they were at. You can literally buy anything, literally experience anything, yet you still feel empty inside.
Right.
Can you imagine how that feels? I know what it feels like broke.
Right.
Why do I need to know what it feels like rich? Because here's what I'm saying to myself. Yeah. I'm going to take a gamble that the money's going to fix the emptiness. And then when I get there, it's just another big kick in the balls. The bitter irony that money doesn't make you happy. Yeah. But some people have to find that out.
Yeah, I find it shocking that this is still a belief that people hold, because I understand before the age of information, especially before the age of social media, where our lives in general were kind of small in reach. Like, I mean, you remember, you're only 5 years younger than me, so you remember the days where a celebrity would die and we didn't find out for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
right?
Generally it was a while. Yeah.
Yeah, a week to 2. I mean, I think it was a week at the fastest, before the internet. And now
pre-Twitter.
Yeah. Pre-internet, you did not know when someone famous died for, let's say, at least a week, right? Now it's 30 seconds.
Oh, I know, man.
The nurse assigned to the room, when they hear the machines flatline, they rush into the room, they see who died, and then they pull out their phone to make a post about it. That's what happens. Okay, yeah, so go ahead.
Check the Wikipedia listing. As soon as you hear someone died, it'll go from Joe is an American to Joe was an American actor, playwright, whatever. It's fucking crazy, man.
Right. It's lightning fast. And so the point of that is to say that before the internet, we didn't have that many people to compare ourselves to.
Yeah.
Because I love the internet. I love all it does for me. The internet is now facilitating this conversation between you and I. You're a person that I might not have ever met if it wasn't for the internet. So I'm very grateful for the invention of it, right? However, that double-edged sword is that now you have the entire world to compare yourself to, and people fall into the trap of actually comparing themselves to other people. Like, I know a guy who I think is an amazing human being, one of the funniest people I've ever met. He goes online and he takes photos in front of very expensive cars that he does not own, just to give the impression of wealth.
Damn.
You know, and I find that sad without being judgmental. I just think it's sad that anyone feels a need to do that, right? And all of this to say is that it's what you said earlier. It's my favorite line from 6 Degrees of Separation. Most of the people that you see online are living hand to mouth at a higher level just because they make more money. I mean, listen to the actors and the writers during the strike talk about the reality of their life. Many of these, the vast majority of these people who are famous are not really rich. Okay? Rich and famous don't always go together. A lot of these people are scrambling to pay the bills just like everybody else is. They're doing what they love, and that's wonderful, but they're stressed out about the finances. And that's literally the only thing that money can do. You said it. You can just alleviate a little bit of your stress about money and nothing else. Money cannot address anything beyond money issues.
Yeah, wealthy people don't strike. Wealthy people don't try to get rich by demand. They fucking make shit happen.
Right.
They're
and very often
makers.
They're born into their wealth. You know, 75% of the people on the Forbes list were born into their wealth.
Yeah, and we can't hate on them for that. Now, they may do nefarious stuff, some of them, and maybe most of them. I don't know the numbers there. But I do know one thing about wealthy people that we'll never know their names. They teach their kids how to do this stuff. Can you blame them?
Oh, yeah. There's a guy named nicknamed the Godfather of Harlem. This guy has been a behind the scenes player in virtually every famous performer that you've ever heard who was black in your entire life, and nobody knows this guy's name. There was a documentary about him, and people go, whoa, who is this guy? Yeah, that's to your point. The man in the shadows, the man behind the curtain, is usually the wealthiest one. It's not the people out front doing the dog and pony show. Guess what? Guess who the brains of the Dump family was? It was never Donnie. Donnie Dump is a blithering, blistering, frothing idiot. Okay?
How do you really feel about it?
His brother Robert was the brains behind the family. He's the only reason that the family maintained their money after their father died. And Robert completely eschewed the limelight. He was never interviewed. He was almost never photographed. Okay? But he was the true power and intelligence behind that family. And isn't it a coincidence, once he died a couple of years ago, there's been a downward trajectory for Donnie Dump. I don't know if that's a coincidence. I don't know if it's just, you know, timing or whatever, but, you know, I think there might be something there. But, you know, all of what you're saying and all of what Charente is saying and all of what I'm trying to say is money will not do anything more than what money can do, which is alleviate money issues. That's it. If you're sad before you're rich, as we've seen in the past with celebrities that have murdered themselves, you will be sad after you're rich as well.
Yep. Absolutely, man.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Greg.
There you go. It's a simple metaphor. If I am a miserable drunk, and I was for many years, more booze isn't gonna solve anything.
Right.
But that's all we know, and that's all we do is we pour more down.
And the top line of all anonymous programs says your problem wasn't the substance, right? So that means once you relieve the booze, and once I gave up the drugs and alcohol in 1987, I was left with the asshole that caused all the problems. And with that, I'll say good night, my friend.
Thanks, man.